Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September video blog edition of The Author's Pen. Before we get started on tonight's topic, which I happen to find very interesting, let's just take a moment to remember that 22 years ago today, on September 11th, was the attack on the World Trade Center, one of the most devastating attacks on our country's soil and our country's history. So let's not ever forget the first responders, firefighters, police officers, etc., and the innocent people who lost their lives that day, and the heroes that made the ultimate sacrifice to save or try to save others. It's a very emotional day for me to a certain degree, being a retired firefighter and first responder. I understand what they all did and why they did it, and they would probably do it again because that's what they sign up for. So I think we owe that in their memory to never forget that day. With that being said, I do apologize again that I missed a month or two of video blog posts, but this time of year is extremely busy for me. Sometimes it's very difficult to even get my weekly blog written in during these summer months. But one way or another, we try to manage. So here we are back together for September. And one quick thing that I like to mention before we talk about tonight's post of AI, artificial intelligence, is I constantly receive emails asking me, I want to subscribe to your blog, but I don't want my email shared. I don't want my email sold. First of all, when you subscribe to our blog, we don't ask for any other information other than your email address. And trust me when I tell you, and I can only ask that you believe me, that information is never sold, shared with anyone. I keep, and your privacy is very, very important to me, because I don't like when my email address is sold or shared with others, although I know it is. But we don't do that here. So if you want to subscribe to the blog, and I hope you do, feel free to, and know that your information is safe. So there's been so much talk about AI, artificial intelligence, which is really gaining popularity. But what a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of people fear it, I love technology. I love advancements. I mean, come on, let's face it. Without technology, we wouldn't have half of the things we have today. How many of you remember the days of having the ClickBox antenna on the top of your TV to rotate your antenna to get a better signal from a station that you wanted to watch on your television? And look at where we are today. So I'm all for things that are going to make life easier for people. But our society has really gone through a major transition. I remember when I went to college, to have a college degree was special. Most people couldn't afford it. Most people didn't have the time. They were just out of high school. They had to work. A lot of them just didn't go to college. And it was a time where skilled labor was in great demand. Now, with the onset of online learning, which I happen to support, and I write for courses for a couple of different platforms, that we have now flooded the market with college degrees. Now, that's not a bad thing, because it's always great when people learn and gain knowledge. But again, I could think back to the day of having a bachelor's degree. You were considered special. Now, bachelor's degrees are a dime a dozen. I mean, I know so many people that have their bachelor's degrees that are working in restaurants as servers, and they aren't even working in the field that they went to college for. Now everybody wants a master's degree. Well, when we flood the market with master's degrees, what's going to happen? Is everybody going to have a doctorate degree in order to get a job? And through this process, skilled labor has taken quite a hit. In the summer months, it's difficult to get air conditioning people to repair your air conditioner, or an electrician, or whatever the case may be. Construction companies are begging for skilled laborers, because skilled labor has kind of been put to the back burner. Everybody wants the clean shirt, tie, and jacket job and making the big money. But you know what? Skilled labor makes big money. If you're a welder, a lot of different industries, an electrician, a plumber, these guys and gals make some very good money. So now the trend is kind of reversing, and a lot of people are going to welding school and technical schools, and they're now developing skills, which is a good thing, because there has to be a healthy mixture of skilled labor versus people with college degrees. Because of all of this, and what most people don't realize, the conception of AI, artificial intelligence, started way back in 1956. And the thought process on AI is a little bit scary to most people, but I want to give you an example. I remember when I owned a Lexus LS 430S, luxury sedan as they call it. And it was one of the newer type vehicles that had the laser guided cruise control, automatic braking, and so on and so forth. And of course, when you have these toys, you want to play with them and see how they work. It's truly amazing. There's certain things about computerized systems that you can't beat. They are much quicker than the human brain could process the information, and our human brain processes information very, very quickly, but not as quick as a computer. Because I remember I was driving down a highway in Connecticut. Actually, I was coming back from the casino one night, and a guy had cut me off, and I had my laser-guided cruise control on, and I had my distance set for the car in front of me, and a guy swinged across and came in front of my lane. My Lexus immediately slowed down before my foot even started towards the brake. Okay, so there's a lot of great advantages towards it. And as I said earlier, I'm for anything that's going to make people's life easier. But I'm not necessarily for everything that's going to replace the jobs that people do. Now, in some cases, it's great to have robotics or artificial intelligence that could go, say, into and the bomb squad uses it all the time. They use robotics and so on and so forth. And yeah, I would much rather see a machine get blown up if a bomb goes off than a human being. So it does have its place in safety with regards to replacing people in certain tasks. So let's just talk real quick about what artificial intelligence really is, because a lot of people think that artificial intelligence is just a little bobblehead that comes up on a computer screen and talks to another person, and it's much deeper than that. I'm going to read this because it's kind of a lot to remember, actually. So basically, AI is a simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to think and work like human beings. Now, the two key words there is think and work. All right? How far do we take that? Where do we say we need to have a person involved in this? Where's the oversight begin and where's the oversight end? We're not talking about a car production line where a robotic arm comes out and does certain welding points on an automotive body, and so on and so forth. Now, the thing about artificial intelligence that we need to remember, it can learn from experience, it can make decisions, and can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. Now, that's kind of scary because you're going to say to yourself, AI is going to replace human beings. And you know what? In certain situations, in certain jobs, it may. And again, I mentioned one of those jobs. It might be appropriate that they do that. There's basically 4 types of AI. And this is, again, a great overview and summary because things go a lot deeper and a lot more technical than what we're talking about here. There's reactive, okay? There's limited memory. There's theory of mind. And then there's self-awareness, all right? Where we're at in the AI evolution right now is reactive, meaning they do one specific task. This is your robotics thing that I was talking about, say an automotive assembly line or other assembly lines. You see it all the times in commercials where machines put bottles in, fill bottles, screw bottle tops on, slap labels on cans, so on and so forth. These are things that are specifically designed to do one task and one task only. Now, the problem with that task is it's replacing human jobs. All right? Yeah, you need to have someone that monitors the assembly line, or you need to have people that are there to replace the machinery when it breaks down, but it is replacing human jobs. But again, we have to weigh the benefit versus the downside. The benefit is you can't produce nowhere near the number of items in the same allotted time with people that you can with machinery. And with the demand and the population growth that the world has, production is important. Production times are important. These machines are basically set up where they have limited memory. Okay, they're set up for specific tasks and so on and so forth. But now AI is taking a major leap. Okay, and what is theory of mind and self-awareness? Let's talk about what that really means. Theory of mind is, as human beings, we understand what we're thinking, we understand the decisions that we're making, and we understand the effects that those decisions are going to have on other people. And that is the course that AI is in the process of taking right now. And probably as I speaking to you at this moment, advances are being made that don't even know about, all right? Because we do have AI and artificial intelligence now that can make decisions, make choices, and so on and so forth. And they're starting to develop their memory where they can make or understand the choices or the decisions that they make, how they might affect something else. And it's an algorithm is basically what it boils down to. If I do X, Y, Z, A, B, C will happen. It's just a matter of training it. Now, in this theory of mind concept, okay, AI will be able to learn from its mistakes, from its experiences, and at some point in time, be able to adjust its behavior, just as human beings do. Then we have the last stage of development of artificial intelligence, which is self-awareness. And we have self-awareness. And basically what self-awareness is as human beings, we are conscious of ourselves, our environment, everything around us. And eventually artificial intelligence will be developed to have self-awareness. Now, once all of this happens, do we have a human being in a robotic body? All right? Will this artificial intelligence be superior to human beings? You know what? In some cases, most definitely. All right? Will artificial intelligence ever be able to shed a tear or understand, say, the deepest emotions like sorrow, sadness, happiness, anger that human beings do? Yeah, I think one day it will develop to that point. Is all of that scary to a lot of us? Yeah, I think it is. You know, and I happen to be a guy that loves technology. I strive for anything that's going to make my job easier. Okay? You know, but again, we've been using different forms of artificial intelligence through software, firmware, computer development, so on and so forth, for years, and didn't even realize it. We now finally have, science has finally put a name to it, artificial intelligence. But the questions we need to ask ourselves is, how far do we go with progress? How quickly do we get there? And what are the consequences of that progress? Will everything always have an on-off switch? All right? Human beings malfunction because we're not perfect. And they malfunction in a bunch of different ways. If they have mental disorders, so on and so forth, we've all seen what those malfunctions could be on the news. What happens when artificial intelligence malfunctions? All right, is it going to have an on-off switch? I'm sure that it will. All right, we've all seen movies where the machines take over and they self-develop so rapidly that people can't control them anymore. You got to remember, those are movies. You see that on the big screen and you see it on your TV. Don't compare that to reality. All right, I like to think that human beings and scientists are a little bit smarter than to develop something that could completely take us over, where we don't have the ability to turn it off. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you when it comes to artificial intelligence, don't fear it, embrace it. But embrace it properly. And then decide how you want to use artificial intelligence in your life, your personal life. We are not going to be able to control what businesses do with it. We're not going to be able to control what governments do with it. But we can't control what we personally do with it. And just remember, any newer type car that you drive, you are driving a vehicle that has artificial intelligence in it. Every nice little feature that your car has that you love, all the little bells and whistles, that's all artificial intelligence in one shape or form. So is it totally wrong to develop artificial intelligence to make life easier for human beings? No, I don't think that it is. Not at all. However, do I think artificial intelligence should get to a point where it replaces human beings? In some circumstances, absolutely. In other circumstances, absolutely not. You know, artificial intelligence is very big right now at assisting doctors in diagnoses or diagnosing a problem, reading an X-ray, an MRI, a CT scan, things like that. That's a great tool. And that's the key word here. Artificial intelligence should be a tool, not a replacement. So that's my 2 cents on artificial intelligence. I just wanted to share that with you. So many people are concerned about it. We hear about it on the news all the time. And sometimes we just need to take a chill pill every once in a while and look back or look at a situation and see exactly what it is. And that was the purpose of this post for September. Again, you could always write me. My email address is down below if there's any topics you would like to see me discuss. And please subscribe to my blog. That's always appreciated. And with that, Always live with an open mind, an open heart, and live your best life. Thank you. Stay well. Good night.